Good morning. This is the big picture on the road. I'm going to a school called Cornelius Vermuyden in Essex. It's a long way away, about 3 and a bit hours. But don't worry, I've got plenty of time to think. And that's a great thing, because thinking thoughts helps me understand who I am, helps me understand about where I want to go and who I want to be. It's a great time. So I feel very grateful. There's no cars on the road. It's 5:30 and I'm very happy. So good morning, big picture fans. But it's a great time for you as well. A great time in your life to think about where you want to be and where you want to go and what you want to do. And there's 2 things I want to tell you this morning. The first thing I want to tell you is this, is if you've got no big picture in your life and you don't know where you're going to, then you won't even start. You won't even commit. Because you can't commit until you've decided about what you really want. But when you have decided, then you'll start to do things. You'll start to believe things. And you'll start to behave in a way you've never behaved before. Trust me, it's a very exciting and very scary prospect. Because when you start doing things you've never done before, things start happening you've never seen before. Some of your friends might not believe in what it is that you're choosing to do. They may not believe in you. They may not even care about what you're thinking. And sometimes when they do care, it's because they're scared that whatever you're doing might be better than them. What do you mean better than them? There's kind of like no such thing, and yet there also is. Because in this case, better for you. Not better generally, just better for you. Better for what you want to do in your life, and better for who you want to be. So the first thing you have to do is you've got to have a big picture. You've got to decide where it is that you want to go, at least for now. And if you said at least for now as the next 6 months or next year or next 6 years, trust me, that's a lot better than the next 6 minutes. Or maybe not at all, which is what most people do. And the second thing, which is often overused, but thoroughly useful and thoroughly important, is that you need to believe. Because if you don't believe, trust me, your dad won't, and neither will your best friend. And by the way, that's not even being rude, that's just true. Because if you don't believe what it is you want to believe in your life, trust me, things won't happen, things won't change, and things won't shift, and you won't even bother trying because you don't believe. And if you say you do believe but you don't do things, well, it's because you don't believe enough. You don't really believe. You just say you do. You're just telling other people that you do, or maybe even worse than that, you're telling yourself. And by the way, that's the biggest lie you can tell without piling more guilt on you. So make it simple. Don't make it complex. Have a think about what it is you want to achieve and what your big picture is. And even if you're not sure, I'm sure you want to be happy or you want to be successful. But once you know that, then you'll start to find out the things you need to know, and you'll start to work out who you want to talk to, where you want to be, and even what you need to do next. And if you don't believe, well, maybe it's time you started. Because when you start believing, things will happen, things will change, and you'll start to notice a difference in the way that you behave and the way you approach your world. A guy called Lou Brown said something very profound, and I really like this. He said the 2 greatest days in your life, he said the first day is the day that you were born, and the second day is the day when you realise why you were born. Many people, and I really mean this, even when they're 70 years old, or even when they're middle-aged, or even whenever it is in their life they get to, they never get to that second day. They never get to realise why it is they were born, and they never really get to realise who they could have been, rather than who they ended up being. And by the way, I'm not being rude, I'm not being disrespectful. That's a choice that we all have to make in our lives. But too many people, as you know, have this thing called a midlife crisis, or they start to have regrets as they get older. You don't need to do that. You don't need to worry about that. And you don't need to have any of those thoughts or moments in your life if you don't want to. Anyway, thanks for listening. This is the big picture. The future is now. That's cool, Keith. I love you. Goodbye.